Good evening, everyone. I know now it's evening because this is the 15th of March. It's the Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. This Ides of March, in the year of COVID 2021, we have the government just about to debate, are they debating? I don't know. Try and push through one of the most distressing and disturbing bills that even these wonderful people in all their craziness could come up with. So, as this is going out, there's probably large gatherings. I would be surprised if there's not, all over London, all over the country. In a week where, unfortunately, people trying to even hold a vigil on Clapham Common, women trying to hold a vigil on Clapham Common against the violence of not only men, but of, unfortunately, a police officer that was involved in the abduction and murder of one very, very unfortunate human being. So, in a week when we would offer our condolences to the families and anyone that's been involved in street violence across the piece, for every day that it happens, it's an incredibly disturbing scenario. But the greater, bigger picture of having this bill that's going to go through Parliament, or to try to go through Parliament, is potentially going to, I don't know, I think it will foreshadow the time of great civil unrest in this country. And on the word civil unrest, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest this evening to talk about the world of young people and our future with some more optimism. He's a great fellow. Lots of young people who would know this, who are not so young now, will know this gentleman. And we've had the good fortune to do a few projects with him over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, Shea Stew. How you doing, Shea?
I'm well.
You're looking well.
Thank you.
You're looking cool. Yeah? You're looking wise. What's going on, bruv? Tell me what's going on, yeah? What's going on?
Well, the thing is, things are good.
Yeah.
We're living in a pandemic of madness, but things are good. I cannot complain on a personal level. I cannot complain on a working level. Things are much better than one would imagine, being the past year and all. And yeah, just listening to everything at the moment, whether it be the news, whether it be work related, or whether it be anything. And one thing that's abundantly clear is that there is a lot of unrest in the world as we know it. And there's a lot of work to do to bring back the life that everyone had before.
Well, I'd say maybe with a few adjustments. I've talked to you about our hope to do this Unlock Reset Festival on the 21st of June. So what is the work that you do? What are you actually doing? Because you used to work, who did you, was it youth service full time?
I worked for Wiltshire Council Youth Service for a long time. The Bridge Centre in Chippenham was effectively my second home, and it really was a second home. I had a genuine passion for all the things that I did, especially out on the streets working with young people and making magic happen where it usually wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that to me is what my life was back then, 100%. I'm lucky to say that I also have that now, and I'm just doing it on a broader scale in a bigger place.
Yeah, tell us about that. So what's the project that you're working on now?
So I work for Young Bristol, in obviously the company's in Bristol. If you didn't know, basically my job is to run a mobile provision in and around Bristol, which is, on the surface, sounds almost generic until you see the thing that I actually manage. So the mobile is a fixed purpose, built for purpose vehicle that can accommodate all types of youth and community work in its grandest form, if you like. So the mobile was created back in 2018, I believe, and it was put together by Young Bristol with an awful lot of fundraising, an awful lot of work, and it literally is a purpose-built lorry for young people.
Yeah.
And it's fully kitted out with kitchens, sports equipment, obviously PlayStations, because young people love PlayStations. I'm not trying to promote.
Sponsored by anyone, are you?
Yeah, sponsored by PlayStation.
Let's not hope not.
Yes, definitely not. But yeah, basically the mobile is a fixed provision, but on wheels. So we effectively can go into any area, and we can produce good quality youth and community work. We can provide so many different things in relation to skills. You know, we've got open access youth work, which is always lots of fun. We work in an area currently called Bishop Sutton, which is just outside of Bristol, and you know, some sessions we can have like 45 young people, and those sessions are absolutely wild and wonderful. We have a broad range of young people between the ages of 8 and 19. The sessions are always young people led. You know, we don't have a fixed structure per se. We kind of rock up, we kind of like say hello to everyone, and we kind of do whatever. If someone says, right, we're going to roll with some sport, that's what we do. So we're totally open access, but we have the ability to go anywhere. And if it's absolutely hammering down the rain, we have a great big inflatable. The same as we've got canopies and all sorts that come off the actual mobile, so we can be there any time of year, any weather, and we can produce.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember back in the day there was the Octobus over in Swindon that you did a similar thing. Big double-decker bus, had all sorts of facilities, and it did that. It went to different areas, and I think those things are amazing. I was thinking, what happens when it rains? What happens when it's cold? And what happens during COVID? How did that work during COVID?
Well, I'll start with the weather scenario. So basically, the mobile itself has got its own electrical system. So it's got electrical system, but it's got its own heating system as well. So it could be -10 outside, and we can have 10, 15 young people on board. Everyone's warm, safe, and happy. Which is the total idea of the provision, full stop. So we can operate and deliver anything, but we also have been pushing the mobile into different avenues of work. So we've worked at Oasis Academy in Bristol, where we've done work with Year 11s. The whole idea is if there's any young people that have kind of missed out on some of their work or anything else, we can go in and we can work with those young people and get their GCSEs up.
That's superb.
So we're totally multifunctional, and also the community element of that. It gives people a peace of mind to know that their area has got work. They've got youth and community workers operating. So where an area would not usually have anything, they now do.
So is it like Chippenham or Wiltshire, where they don't have any buildings anymore for youth service?
So YB have got youth centres of their own.
Oh, they have physical buildings as well?
So Young Bristol have their own youth centres, but they have a full outdoor programme as well, and I am the mobile element of that. So YB effectively has a full spread of operational youth and community work.
Because I was going to say, would you then suggest that as the model to Wiltshire? Would you say it's okay to get rid of all your buildings like the Bridge Centre and just have a mobile thing, or do you think that you need to have? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a very, very good question. One that is probably been questioned probably for the last 8 years since 6 years, whatever it's been now, since the youth services had their dissolution, if you like.
But was that the same in Bristol? Did they have was it the same sort of idea that you get?
So across the board, Ed, youth services were cut dramatically to the point where many service buildings could not be used. So it's been the same kind of all over the place. But Wiltshire is, especially north side of Wiltshire, has got a large rural capacity of people. That in itself would warrant having something like the mobile. Because then you can...
I'm not expecting it to be... I get what you're saying. So you'd still have both. You'd recommend having both?
I would recommend always having both, because you can always maximise the service for young people.
So what was the consultation that led in in Wiltshire, because were you working for the youth service? I remember a consultation at the Bridge Centre, and a mother nearly crying, in particularly in reference to you and your youth work that you'd done with her daughter. That was the consultation about whether the youth service should be kept, etc., etc. What was your understanding of how that played out?
It's a very, very interesting one. For many families around this area in Chippenham, when the youth service went, it was quite a big hit. And it wasn't just felt by youth workers on the ground, it was felt by many other people. And the impact of that created a ripple that I don't think has ever gone. And I think that when a youth provision disappears, it creates an abundance of potential issues. So I remember conversations back then saying, this is going to create some real issue. There's going to be a real social divide, even more than what there was. So we between all of us, we were trying to bridge the gaps. Where there was nothing for young people, we were trying to bridge that. Pardon the pun, the bridge was that place.
So we used to use it more than the youth service, so we know. And there's other, Jenny Budgell on the other day, again, there's mothers and toddlers, there's all sorts of community groups that were orientated mainly around children, and it seems that that's the very thing that's been taken away, not just in Chippenham, but across the field. So what was your understanding of that then? Because you were working, you made redundant.
I was personally made redundant, along with, I don't know what the actual percentage was, but there was a large percentage, a very large, across the whole service that was let go. And there was a very long-winded yearly process for that. So, we tried to fight all the corners. We tried to get, people in the public to kind of vocalise how they felt about service, about how they, almost how they interpreted the service. Because that's the extent that we felt we needed to go to in order to kind of prove the point. The greatest irony was we fought and fought and fought, but effectively we were fighting a losing battle. So it all boils down to money. Everything boils down to money, and unfortunately in the world of, many things. And
boils down to I don't think it boils. Money's an imaginary thing.
Absolutely.
I think it boils down to what you want to prioritise, because it was bizarre, wasn't it? Couldn't have a youth service in Wiltshire. Apparently, even though from the consultations that you were at, did you believe that the people at those consultations said, get rid of the youth service? What was your opinion? Because I've been at one and two, in fact. What was your opinion? Do you think that people were going, let's get rid of the youth service, let's knock all the buildings down? Was that your understanding?
No. I think that anyone and everyone that we on the ground were speaking to did not want the youth service to go.
Right.
Many people did not understand. It's the same with all youth work. Many people don't understand the concept of it. Many people just box it and think it's someone in a local hall doing this or doing that. It's not. The work that kind of we did across the board was all about the people we served out there. That's what drove us. And any good youth and community worker, or anyone that's got a passion for working with young people, it's second to none. You do the job because you love the job,
absolutely. But for me, I saw that, and obviously we do a similar job, but just in a wider context. And I was thinking at the time, right, okay, well, no one seems to be saying, let's not keep the youth service. You guys certainly weren't saying, you're right, actually, we're not doing a very good job, let's get rid of it. Why? So who made the decisions on and particularly, because the thing is, here's the thing, I've got a problem myself, because I interviewed Pete Hutton. You remember Pete Hutton? Was he involved when he must have been.
Pete was involved on a level.
Didn't he have the youth and community portfolio at the time, wasn't he?
So Pete was involved quite heavily.
Yeah.
It was always very, very unclear to who was effectively dissolving everything. Pete used to come to a lot of the meetings. We used to speak to a lot of different people, over in the chambers and the council and stuff. And we had some great times. We had some really negative times, and obviously the negative came from this. So, Pete was always around. He was almost an advocate for a long time. But I think the honest truth is, the powers that be, I don't think really anyone understood why things were being dissolved the way they were, because we were.
Well, they must have done. One of them got a damehood out of it, so they must have looked at that and gone, look, can you get rid of this? Because here's the crack. When he was sitting where you're sitting now, he said that the Bridge Centre, when he went down there as a teenager, he didn't get it, and it was almost like, well, I didn't get it, so get rid of it. He didn't have any. I don't think people in that situation. It's like, what sort of crazy, like such a delicate area of society. You need don't you think, as a youth worker, you need a lot of understanding about young people to be put in a position as a counsellor to be making any decisions.
The big word here is empathy.
Yeah.
Without empathy, I quote, you will never ever be able to run, communicate, or understand youth and community in its grandest form.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
So do you think it was a bad idea then, getting rid of
the worst thing this country has had for many, 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 many moons is shifting a youth and community service, a professional service put together for a reason, to serve the communities as well as the police forces, etc., etc.
Yeah, working together, definitely.
Absolutely.
All these areas of the society coming together, but we need buildings and spaces, right? Because here's the thing. Were Riverbank involved when you were at the youth service? Remember Tom and Guy? Do a brilliant thing. The reason I'm saying this is because we've got their equipment and they're hoping to run the riverbank from downstairs from here when they can. Tom's working with us also, so I found out loads of things that happened, and I'm quite shocked really. I think the public will be as well, because they started off as volunteers in the Bridge Centre. They were then kind of corralled when, even though nobody wanted the Bridge Centre to go, and we'd said to Pete Hutton, do not knock this building down, because we use it more than youth service anyway. If you're going to do it, we'll use it until such a time as you've got a new use for it, and there's another youth place, or we'll keep it open, but don't either mothball it or knock it down. Didn't listen to that. I find that quite hard to understand, that people who haven't got any experience in youth and community aren't listening to professionals. Not a good sign. Secondly, then Riverbank set up in the Olympiad. Now, I don't know if the Olympiad's owned by the council or not owned by the council. But they were set up there, they were going for about 6 years, really successful, building on what they did. They used a youth cafe, they did so many things, and without any buy or leave, they went from having to pay no rent to apparently having to be charged £800 a week. Now, I couldn't believe that when I heard that. So I think there needs to be an investigation to that, because surely there will be, on the accounts of the Olympiad, all the years that the Riverbank were there, a bit where they've said in-kind fees given to the Riverbank at the cost of £800 a week, which would essentially be the Olympiad, if it's owned by the Wiltshire Council, giving them £250,000. It's the same thing. So surely that will be really transparent. Did you know that? Did you know that that's what they were doing?
I had no idea at all that was an actual thing. I had no idea. And that in
now, this was all allegedly. I haven't seen any of these things. I've just heard from lots of different people that that's what the Olympiad were going to be charging Riverbank, who were doing a public service, who had built up. I spoke to a parent the other day. They were just saying they were so saddened when Riverbank wasn't there anymore. And I said, if you hear how it came about, and there's going to be questions asked, and there's going to be questions answered by people that were in power at the time. Otherwise, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be in power. So they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. If they haven't got the experience working with young people, or or potentially have even got young people, it's too hard, it's too big a jump. You've both got children and have worked with young people. Well, to be fair, ever since I've known you, mate, and you could only be about 22 now, ain't you?
22.
So you've moved away from this area as far as doing your youth work. Was that an emotional one because you knew so many young people, and how did you feel when that was all taken away from everyone?
So I left the youth service. My last official day was in October 2014.
Yeah.
At 3:10. No, it really was a long time. I couldn't tell you the time or the day, but I left October 14. I would say that is the second biggest heartbreak of my life.
Yeah. It's not good, is it?
And the honest truth is, I had met someone at that point, and she lived in Bristol, and I fell madly in love and moved to Bristol, and that was it. C'est la vie.
La vie! I thought they said say la vie. I mean, it's not a bad double. That's a double whammy, isn't it? Getting someone you fall in love with and Bristol, because it's not a bad place, is it? It's lovely.
I had my heart broken, and then I fell in love. Try and work that up.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Call
me Charlie, call me Aaron. Like
yeah.
It was a terribly strange time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't physically handle or emotionally handle staying in this area for too long.
Yeah.
A couple of years before that, I just bought a new place. I was working in the youth service. I was also working in a school in Chippenham. And things were cool. Being a dad, doing my thing, whatever, trying to kind of, mix it all up and kind of manage everything. But it broke my heart when I left the youth service. There was something very special about a little market town in this country. There's this really individual kind of same old but never the same kind of feel. And
up and down the whole country, yeah.
Absolutely.
We worked all over the place, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And these community, common unity, that which unifies us commonly, buildings where everyone can use.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympiad, great. Everyone uses a multi sort of place for sport and stuff. But to do the type of work that you're talking about, and certainly the type of work that we are and Jenny Budgel's talking about, you need safe, dedicated spaces. And I think that Pete Hutton and people like him haven't understood that, and therefore shouldn't have anything to do with decision making. Seriously, give it up, people. You're not doing us any favours, a community. That, coupled with this government idea about withholding the ability to protest, is absurd. I do, however, think that we should do the opposite. We now know that keep staying at home, not only does it save the national health and saves lives, if we decide moving forward and they try and curtail, I don't know what's happening with this country, well I do, but it's not nice, curtail our liberties by not allowing us to protest. I think we should, because we're all very imaginative, have duvet days where we all agree not to buy anything, not to go outside our houses, one day leading into the next, duvet weeks, duvet months, where we stop the wheels of capitalism. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm being serious. You actually, non-participation in this ridiculous, non-democratic, capitalist, failing. You said about humanity. You said about empathy. There's no empathy. 1% to nurses after a pandemic. Are they joking me? Do you get me? Am I crazy here?
You're not crazy at all.
Well, everyone who knows me and him are thinking those two wouldn't say that about each other because they're both similar. But you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean or not?
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
And you just hit a nail on the big head, which is 1%.
Yeah.
Like, where do we even get a number?
But the 1% of the elites make those decisions for the 1% so that the nurses only get 1%. How ironic! Look at what the 1% really means. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we are living in extremely strange times. And I'm sure you as an audience will understand that people need to have more say in what's going on. And I think that actually the democratic process across this country, across the world in fact, is actually depleted so much so that people don't feel that they can have a voice. And yeah, okay, call me an old-fashioned youth worker, but I'm absolutely all for making things happen.
And local democracy.
Local democracy.
You said earlier on, youth-led, negotiation, listening to what, before you said it, before you start a group, the young people get to say what they want to do, and that's really important, isn't it?
Consultation with young people and that wider community is so important. Because without their say, you're always standing still. You don't know where you're going.
Oh yeah, we learn so much on a daily basis from young people. Every young person that's ever come to Can-Do Arts, if you're thinking that any of us think that we're the ones with all the knowledge, we don't believe that. I learn something regularly, on a regular basis, nearly every day. I say nearly every day because obviously, because I do other things, I'm not fortunate enough to have to work alongside or be able to work alongside other people because I'm doing different stuff. But on a, you've done so many different projects. Out with the mouths of babes, they say. All those great life lessons that allow you to refocus or reimagine how the world can be with somebody that is living in the moment and has hopefully the ability and the optimism to take us positively into the future. We never at a point in our history, it's bizarre that you've come back, that we've just met each other, haven't we?
Yeah.
You walking through Emery Gate the other week and I'm going, wow, that's interesting because great to catch up, brilliant to hear what you're doing, and just so everyone knows, we're going to go across when it all opens up again to Bristol and follow this thing through. I want to see what that is, mate. It sounds amazing.
The mobile is a fantastic thing all in all. It is the difference between having nothing to having all. You know, the work that we've done with young people across Bristol so far and in Bath area, it's just been
so
great.
Can we put a link on this video now? Yes. Is there any videos that have they got a website and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So
right, we'll do that. So you give Julius here the link. Yeah, people can look at it now, but we're going to do a follow up. I want to do a brilliant follow up for me. There's a really inspirational person called. I better not say her name just yet because it will be. Can I say Amy Kington? Okay, I've said it. Amy Kington. You don't know if you're in Bristol, you don't know who Amy Kington is. You probably ain't from Bristol. Absolutely, totally inspired by that human being. She's absolutely amazing. I'm going to keep going on about her and the organisation that she represents, but have a look when you see that. Your organisation, sir, you're a legend. We're going to put it on now. Anything else you want to say before we get this man to rush this out, hot off the press? Look at what the Parliament are trying to do to us, people. Stand up for your right, not to party, but to parley, to talk, to speak. Give a voice to the voiceless. Give a voice to the voiceless.
But I will say though, please do party eventually when the time comes.
But you won't be able to do anything. If this thing goes through tonight, we will not be able to protest. Although, trust, I definitely think we will eventually win through. The old ways are no longer going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this. Thank you, Shea Stew, everybody.
Check out any young people that see this across the board, or any companies that would like to hire out the mobile. Please get in touch. Shea SS at youngbristol.com, or in fact get onto the website Young Bristol. And yeah, come and holler at me. We provide a mobile service that is an amazing thing. We can produce youth and community work on its grandest scale, and we can go anywhere. Thank you.
You're a ledge. Thank you very much. Thank you, Julius.